All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. What a wild, wild ride, huh? Crazy, crazy. Okay. So Nasdaq went up as much as more than 5% for the day. Okay, that's an extreme. And if you count it from the bottom, it went up as much as 7%, which is exactly what I said yesterday in the video. If you go back to 2016, when Trump uh, was projected to be the next president, the market tanked and then soared 7%. Okay? Doesn't mean anything. Nobody placed a long term position based on uh, some election. Okay? Yes, they hedged their position. A lot of emotions from both sides, but it's garbage. Nothing has changed fundamentally. Nothing has changed for the markets really, other than what they didn't know they're going to get stimulus with Biden or Trump. Right? It's just the composition of the stimulus that can be, argued. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Clearly, what happened, um, you had Trump blow his load early on. Got a lot of people excited, got the market excited. Market went up. And then reality started to set in when everybody figured out that, oh, wait, the mail-in ballots, they have to be counted. And as we all know, Trump didn't want Republicans to mail in their votes, conspiracies, whatever you want to call it. Uh, so the mail-in ballots at the end were only mostly, I should say, Democratic, and that made the difference. All right. Uh, Trump being Trump, he declared victory. Blah blah blah. The same noise he's been doing now for 4 years, right? So that's all over now. Okay, whatever happens, happened, and let's move on and let's do what we got to do. It was hard not to talk about politics when someone like Trump is tweeting and making all this noise and affecting the markets deliberately, which is should be illegal. Honestly, I mean, the things that he's done, so many things he's done illegally. But you can't trade without factoring in Trump's bullshit. All right, it's just not possible. Believe me, nobody wants to talk less about politics than me. I don't give a shit about politics. I don't understand it, and the fact that it was this close uh, just proves how the insane have a voice and a loud voice, and that's bad. That's bad. All right, let's start from the top, and then we'll come back and we'll do the rest. Equal weighted S&P, equal weighted S&P. Let's do it in hourly. Right back into that resistance area. Okay, so it dropped, it built some pressure down here, and then boom, straight up. Okay, these kind of moves, they don't typically last. Okay, they don't last. And I will show you multiple examples of that. Dividend weighted S&P, okay, bounced. We could make an argument that it didn't touch the bottom. Okay, that's a good good for the bulls. VIX, big drop, right? We said if it starts breaking this trend line, then the uptrend is finished. And it is, right? Market is up 5%. Very big drop. Let's see how this plays out. There's still uh, some volatility to the long side somewhere down here. All right. New York Stock Exchange, huge bounce, right? And we were looking to test the previous low. Remember, it doesn't have to touch it. It can actually break it or just go right before it and then bounce. Again, this is why I say please pay attention to the previous highs and lows because it matters. It matters a lot, okay? It doesn't always happen, but you should be very aware of it. Dow Jones up 2.5%. Okay, lower highs, straight moonshot. Again, tight, tight, tight. Now another move to the upside. These things they don't hold. I'm not saying that it can't go higher. It's not what I'm saying. If you're a bull, I don't want to shatter your dreams. It's just these moves they don't hold. They need to correct. You need structure. Okay. Uh, example, right? Look at this, straight down. Did it hold? No. Back up, right? So it's the same thing with these moves. I mean, you can't allow the advertising mechanism price to influence you. Okay, they only do this uh, to provoke emotion. Uh, Yesterday, Victor, oh, I told you so. He was drunk. I told you, as if I am the one that's making the fucking decisions who's going to be president. What the fuck do I know? I told you so. Man, this is important. I hope he remembers it. I hope he does, because I said, listen, you got to wait till the end. Don't make these predictions. Don't come out very excited. Someone else lost money, and he came out. He came on the chat. So I fucked up today. I was a degenerate gambler. I lost. How wonderful is that? Why? Why is that good? Because he can self-correct. If you know enough to self-correct your mistakes, woof, the rest will come. I promise you. The rest of your days, you will you will do just fine. You will self-correct. You will find the reasons why something worked or didn't work. Okay, but you gotta first be honest with yourself. You have to. You have to. Most important thing. Nobody else can see your trades other than you. And if you're honest with yourself and you can correct, promise you, you're the man. All right. S&P 500 broke the bottom, broke the top, not looking very good, right? Because that's what it's supposed to do, right? It's supposed to break the bottom and break the top. So we went into a limp dick right here, then it popped up, right? So you broke the bottom, now you're breaking the top. A lot of emotions, but it's all within the context of this now. Okay? Can this be a 1, 2, 3 down and up? Oh yeah, why not? No problem with that. But we're not there yet. Moonshots, these tight, 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 and then straight up shots, boom, they go right back down. Look at this one. Moonshot down. What happened? Down, right? And then all the way back down, and then all the way back up. Remember, volatility occurs at turning points, right? At turning points. All that craziness. So please don't get too excited. Don't chase. I tried a couple of trades yesterday. Didn't go my way. I didn't necessarily put a time limit on it, but after a while, when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, this has got to go, this has got to go, this has got to go, this has got to go. It doesn't go. All right, take it off. I don't need uh, I don't need the stress of double downing and oh no, this is going to do this and that's going to do that. That's what kills. That's what kills accounts. Okay. And then as soon as I took it off, boom, it went straight up. Fuck. Damn it. I hate you. It's okay. No problem. We have plenty of time to make money. Nasdaq. Nice breakout, double bottom, right? And again, thrust up move. We count this as a one, like it or not, doesn't matter. But this moonshot up, I don't like it. I think it's gotten ahead of itself clearly, and it needs to correct. Okay, look at the trajectory. It's not sustainable. Okay, it's not sustainable. Um, so we wait for the correction, see what it does. Does it start to F flag to the upside? That would be okay, right? If it starts to kind of F flag like this towards the top, right, we're still going to look for a down move. Okay, but that will be okay for a little bit more upside. Do you want to buy it up there? I'm not. I'm not touching that shit. You for me right now, uh, there's a short that I've seen and another short that I would love to take here. Right, nice risk reward. Nice risk reward. Okay, nice risk reward right there. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, nothing has changed fundamentally. Don't forget, it's not like companies are suddenly going to start making money and people are going to have money to go out and consume. It's not the way it works, right? Who knows what kind of, Congress and Senate and what Biden is going to do. These are unknowns, right? But you think he's not going to stimulate? You think he's not going to QE? Oh, come on. Come on. This guy's a seasoned veteran, you know. Printing is his middle name, okay? And that's all that matters to us. So, but hopefully we won't have to talk anymore about politics because that's garbage. Look at this. Wow. Right? Small caps. What a fucking shit show. Straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. And if you look at it closer, right, we had these lower highs, lower lows. Okay, it was going straight up, broke, went right back up. And what do you see? You see anything here? Nothing. It's just noise, right? The fact that it came back into structure kind of scared me, to be honest with you. Uh, but again, overall, I it's still flat top, right? Flat top, and the channel continues to rise, and price is going sideways. That's not good. Most of these moves are just a corrective move, from what I can tell so far. And it's up zero point 0.0 for the day, 0.04. Transportation's nice relief rally, back to the upside. Okay, but same story. Fangs. Fangs is a big deal. They went right up to resistance and failed. All right, right up to resistance and failed. And this is what we expect the Nasdaq to do at some point. Will it be now? Will it be later? I don't know. Okay, but if this starts to break out, well, you can't argue that, right? It's a breakout. So then you will end up with a higher low, right? Higher low, broken down from this structure, broken up. And if this breaks, well, you will look for higher. If it fails, going right back down. But how much of this is just emotions? How much? Think about it. World Stock Market Index right back up. Okay. Going towards that resistance area. All right. Nothing there. Jets popped. Okay. But we're still looking for the downside. Can we make an argument that it's just a bear flag now? Yeah. I don't see anything different. I still think it needs to complete wave 3. China, really, really happy. Why do you think that is? Because Trump is getting elected? No. Uh, China's very happy, straight up. Did exactly what it's supposed to do, right? It was getting hairy there for a while. So we take the highest point and we measure it. Okay. Let me fix that. See, it doesn't count, right? Why isn't it working out now? But that's the highest point, so it can't be that one. All right. So then that means this has to be here. There you go. See, even I get a little fucked up about it. 1, 2, no, no. 1, 2, 3. Megaphone, boom, straight up. Testing previous high. Okay, there we go. So that's the structure. Again, it's more appealing to see it the other way, but again, was it a valid one? Yes. These were leading indicator yesterday, by the way. This is the fangs of China, and they broke out yesterday. Okay, you can see it better like this. Okay. Emerging markets back into structure, pushing higher. Japan right up to resistance and stopped. Remember before I was telling you that the market hadn't come down enough to hit support areas and so forth. Remember that, right? And then eventually it did. They all came down to those support areas. And then now we're seeing this big push up from that, move down, which is a correction, right up to new resistance areas, right? Like Japan. So right up against resistance. Now it starts breaking out of here. Different story, right? Different story. Australia, nice bounce, higher low. Okay, get rid of this. Nifty 50. Remember how I said it's waiting? It's just waiting. It's waiting because if it breaks here, it's a big deal. And sure enough, it went right back up. The other ones were falling, and this one was holding. If you remember, message of the market. Cosby, nice bounce. The biggest move was Europe. Biggest move. Okay, and that makes sense. Nobody wants to deal with Trump, right? Um, but again, look at the way it's going up. It's extreme. Look for this to correct. Right. So limp tick, right? Limp tick correction, and then we'll probably get the wave 3 down at some point, right? UK, huge move. From failed moves comes fast moves in the opposite direction, right? Look at that. So you can expect this now to break the top, actually. And if it does, I will be surprised if it doesn't continue, because this structure needs to correct. Just like what we're saying, the Nasdaq, the S&P, all those things needed to correct, and it did now, right? And that's the danger, that it corrected, but how did it correct? And what are we expecting next? So, um, yeah, we'll keep an eye on the UK. All right. Taiwan right up against the resistance area of the megaphone. Brazil closing the gap. Skip that. Saudia. Saudis. Break pop. Okay. Oil was like the coolest cat out of everybody. Oil was like, yeah, whatever, don't worry about it, man. It's got its sunglasses on, cigarette. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. Up to 39, below 40, obviously. Broke, popped into structure. So yeah, this one is cool cat. Bitcoin continues to push higher. All right, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay. I'm, I'm debating how to restructure a little bit because we have enough data now where we can see the F flag a little better. Right. Still has some room to the upside. Ethereum, it had that roof thing going, broke out, structure above a structure, looking good. Litecoin, noisy. I'm not looking at these too much. Ripple broke down, structure below structure, moving down, doesn't look good. Gold, please. Almost broke out, almost, and right back down. I still have my hopes it will break out. You see how much time we spent at the top? All right. All right, so the real estate fund, nice bounce off the bottom. Okay, it was building a consolidation down here, right? So the fact that it popped back up, that's a good thing because that thing was about to go. Commodities, right? Nice pop, but still very noisy. Okay, perhaps we might need to readjust this. Palladium looks like a bear flag, right? That's not good. Copper doing okay. Base metals pushing up. Agriculture pushed up a little bit. Precious metals, they're not looking good. Commodities are not looking good, and that makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. They know they're going to get a stimulus. Are they sitting here now thinking that, well, it's a Democratic Congress with a Republican Senate again, and I don't know. I don't know what it's thinking really. We'll see. We need more data, obviously. Commodities overall, nice little bounce, but again, it's within the context of a falling flag. Sugarcane, right? It looks like it wants to correct. It really dropped hard. And don't forget that the dollar dropped as well. So it's, mixed messages for sure. Corn is breaking down, but popping now. Wheat, nothing there. Steel, up against resistance. Soybeans are happy. I guess they like Biden as a president and we're going to start exporting soybeans. I don't fucking know. Natural gas, dollar. All right, big, big drop. Okay, so what is that telling you? That stimulus is coming. Okay, so why are commodities down? You see, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's just a lot of noise, and this is the problem that I feel for the stock market. That you get a big rally to the upside, and then boom, straight down. Right? It's just emotions. It's just advertisement. Um, Let me just get rid of all this real quick because this is really noisy now. I'm gonna make this black so I know what the hell I'm looking at on smaller time frames. All right, so this is the structure now. We should see more upside because the bottom is right here. So you count it, it's a 1, it's a 2, right? And you should see a 3 somewhere up there. All right. Now, if that's not the case and it breaks down hither, then you end up with this. And this was the 3. That's a continuation to the downside. That's not good. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt that it might pop a little bit. But as BlackRock said, that a Biden victory is uh, weakness for the dollar, which is good for emerging market currencies and emerging markets overall, which is true if the dollar does fall. All right, so IMF, nothing there. Nothing there. US dollar Japanese right back down. Euro, big swings, back up. Pound, confusion. Dollars falling even against the Turkish lira, which is an embarrassment. US dollars falling against the ruble, and it's back out of structure again. We'll, we'll disregard this fuckery move for now, but clearly it broke down and it's breaking down again. So US dollar CAD right back down. US dollar is getting crushed. Australian dollar up, New Zealand dollar up, and the dollar against the yuan down. Wow. And the most important thing, which is the bonds. Okay, these are the bonds. It went incredibly bullish, didn't hold, and kaboom, straight back down. All right, straight back. I don't know what this line is doing here. All right, so this makes sense now, right? Remember, I was like, what the fuck is this thing doing? I don't understand. Why is it going up? It shouldn't go up. Okay, so fear back in the market for the 10-year, and that's fine. Nothing there. All right, here we go with the bonds. Remember, I was telling you this doesn't make sense. Eventually, it's going to break to the upside. Here we are, all the way up to the top, breaking out now. So what does that mean? It means higher bond prices, which means lower yields. And what's the 10-year doing? Going down. What's aggregate bonds doing? Going up. All right. Let's take a look at the fangs. Wow, Facebook up 8% from that megaphone. Still a megaphone. Okay. Big move. Amazon. Big move. Okay. Again, it's a breakout. Apple breaks the bottom, breaks the top. Not very convincing. Netflix. Huge move up. Okay. And starting to fade. Google. Huge right at the top. Right at that resistance area of the megaphone. Nvidia broke out very nicely. Tesla right back up. Not very convincing. Right. And that's about it. So let's take a look at the shorter time frames. Okay, it's 2:13 in the afternoon. Apparently, Wisconsin said that they will have all their votes uh, most likely by today. All right. Then Trump says he wants a recount and malachias, things that don't matter. Like I said, if you hear a lot of cherries, bring a small basket. So now CNN projects that Wisconsin goes to Biden. Of course. Of course. All right. So here's what we're looking at right now. Okay. Um, Starting to fade a little bit. We broke the previous high, and now it's fading away. Let's see if this holds. Okay. Let's count it. Make sure it's valid. 1, 2, 3. Yep, valid. And when the structure is pointing up, the next move is down. Okay. It's just that simple. Now, yesterday, if you guys remember, I was saying, and I don't know how many of you watched it late night, and I was broadcasting, and I did it mostly so you guys can go back and watch it in real time. You can fast forward it. And the way you would do it, because there's a lot of pause, because I can't just sit there for hours. Um, Once you see the chart move, then you can stop it and listen to it. Okay. So second. So look at this move. Right? Nice little, we were talking about this all day yesterday, right? Right. Straight up move. And then what? Boom. Straight down. Okay. Can't get excited about moves like this, especially on big news days. Just an advertising mechanism. Then you got the 1, 2, 3 up. Okay. Now you're getting this kind of head and shoulders looking thing, which you would look for a move to the downside. Now the question is going to be, where is it going to stop? Is it going to stop here? Is it going to stop here, or is it going to come all the way down and then possibly go back up? Right? I don't know. I don't know. I cannot tell you that, but I can tell you that this needs to correct. The trajectory is way too high. The move is way too much. For those who thought that the market went up because of Trump winning, clearly that's a mistake. That's not why the market went up. Uh, Again, they're both printers. It's not going to make a difference. It's just the market saying, okay, now we know who's going to win, and that's a relief for them. All right. Um, Small caps is nothing there. S&P, we're above the 63. This is good for the bulls, right? This is good. You wanted to hold above the 63, but look how much difficulty it had at the 63, right? So we ended up yesterday doing what? Going straight up, breaking the top, breaking the bottom, back up, and now it's coming back down to earth. All right. Let's look at the market internals real quickly. Market internals has healthcare up 5%, communication and technology. Mm, and then discretionary. And then it's lagging by materials, utilities, financials. Not bad. Not bad. But you want to see these two at the top. Okay. Last 5 days. Energy, healthcare, communication. That doesn't look bullish to me. And for the week, it's up almost 6%. Energy should not be leading. At least utilities are at the bottom. Information technology is on the bottom end. So again, it just looks like a correction to me from that channel. Okay. That's all that happened. Okay. This channel here, correct it. That's it. And we said that before. Don't forget. Don't forget. Don't have selective memory. We said this needed to correct, and this could lead to the next move down. Right? So this would be a 1, 2, 3 down. All right, let's go by volume by price. Actually, let me do this real quick. Above the 63-day moving average. Okay. E Volume by price. Yesterday I said, look, we're moving into open waters. void, right? Big void. Moving into open waters, no resistance. Where did it go? Exactly where it was supposed to go, right? This was much smaller, by the way. To that resistance area, came right back down. Now it went right back up, and now it's failing here again. Okay, come on. All right. So the key now is to hold this area for the bulls. And we have the subtlety right here. Didn't make it right quite to the top. At least not yet. It can still do it. Small little flag in there. And again, it's happening right at that previous high, right? Where that big fuckery move came in yesterday. Right there is where it's trying to figure out what's going on. And time now is 2:22. We have the VIX down to 29.4. S&P equal weighted is 1%. Dividend weighted is down 0.66%. New York Stock Exchange up 1.5. Dow Jones 2.2. S&P is up 3%. And Nasdaq is up 4.8%. Small caps down, negative, flat, really. Transportation's up zero point 0.4, and the FANGs, okay, the FANGs are up 6%. So, you know, when you look at Nasdaq is almost as much is up as much as the FANGs within a percent, you know, that's not usually the way it works. Usually you have Google up, I'm sorry, the FANGs up 6%, and then Nasdaq would be up like 2.5. Right. So there's a lot of euphoria in Nasdaq right now. Is the way I read that. Okay. Airlines zero point 0.3 up. China's up 2.7. Germany's up 2%. All right. All right. So we'll wait for this to see what it's going to do. By the way, the point of control is all the way down here. Oops. Here's the point of control. Okay. Now, in terms of the breakout, um, because I'm focusing on this now, right? But in terms of the breakout, let me just kind of clear this out just for a second. You have the thrust up move 1, the compass. You have the 2, which came right back down. And this is a 3. Okay. So you end up with something like this. Now we're only focusing on this part here, of course, because we want to know what this is going to do, right? We expect this one to resolve to the downside. But in the grand scheme of things, the whole entire structure is bearish.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right. My dodgy be screaming. Now, let's look at this. This is what happened with Brexit. Please be aware of this. Brexit broke out, looked all beautiful, and then boom, right? A big shock when the news broke that they were not, that they were going to Brexit. And then you went into the sideways move, and then you got a flash crash, completing a 1, 2, 3 down, right? Um, Again, this is something that could play out. Once they announce Biden, I mean, something can happen like that. Okay. These are um, the photos that I saved from yesterday. This is what it looked like when I came on last night. And as you can see, we had this structure in place. Okay. We started to correct, and then boom. All right. And then you know what happened, right? Came back down, came back up, and now we're looking for the downside. But how many people got excited off of this? A lot. A lot. All right, let's go back and let's take a look at the Nasdaq with Apple, and let's do this on a yearly. Okay, so the leading indicator now is almost back into structure. Almost, but it's not back in. Let me get rid of this. The Nasdaq again, right, is going more euphoric than Apple, which is exactly what it did here. It went euphoric while Apple was going sideways, right? So not much has changed from that perspective. If we use oil, where is oil? There it is. I got to go on a 6 month on this one. Okay. Oil is signaling, in fact, that things are okay, right? It's back into structure. And the Nasdaq is moving higher. So from that perspective, that's okay. Where's the other one? Shit. 1 second. Amish. Amazon is back in. Okay. Netflix is holding. Google, we knew it was going higher. Nvidia is testing. Tesla, of course, is below. Okay. So a bit of euphoria in the Nasdaq that's actually outperforming the fangs. All right. Anybody have any questions? take a look at Twitter, what's going on there. Trump campaign says has filed a suit in Michigan to hold counting of ballots. Yeah. You know, when you see a fish out of water and it's just sitting there, sputtering when it's dying, this is the kind of stuff they do. It's the same thing. Trump now is sputtering like a fish out of water, trying to trying to find a way to win. All right. Slowly breaking down from that small flag, right? Again, from the bottom yesterday is where we're measuring. Okay, this structure is what we're measuring. Point of control is where it's at right now. It's very happy there, but once that drops, then volume really starts to fall off. So we'll see if that plays out or not. The bullish case is that this is a head and shoulder continuation pattern. I kind of fucked that up. Okay, that's the bullish case. That this is a head and shoulders within this structure, and it will go for one more up. All right. I used to watch. I used to read technical analysis books, and they kept saying, "Well, you have to have 3 points that touch in order to validate a structure," and blah blah blah. And now that I understand charting a lot better, and I look back, and I'm like, "What the fuck was that guy talking about?" By the time you see the third point, it's the end of the structure. I don't know. I don't know how these people they put out books like that and whatever. Any other questions? Anybody? Everybody's stunned. It's wild, right? Nobody knows what to believe. It was a great. It was like binge watching a nice series yesterday. It was great. So much fun. Earnings yield all the way down to 2.86 now. That's not good. That makes the market very, very, very expensive. Remember, last time we were down here, 2.85, 2.86, whatever area, what happened to the market? Market went down, right? Small subtleties. They start to add up over time, and they start to tell a story. Take a look at the VIX real quick. There you go. Take a look at TSA travel. Flat. Flat. And again, just because of an election, COVID doesn't go away. Fear in people doesn't go away. No jobs don't go away. No wages don't go away. But companies can always cut costs much faster than the revenue, right? So you can see a bump in profitability, and it's not going to be long lived, right? Eventually, reality hits. No Biden, no Trump can change that, okay? That continues. That's reality. Market being at 2.5, whatever it is, 2.86, is very expensive. It's not cheap. Stick to the fundamentals. They will guide you well. Again, for those people who are, they love the politics and so forth, you can't identify with a victory of a candidate. Uh, if you lose, If they lose, oh, somehow you're no good, or if you win, or somehow you're smarter. It's garbage. Garbage. It's not true. It's fun in the sense of like, oh, my team lost one, yeah, whatever. In that sense, okay, and then you move on. You go about your life. It's the same thing here, right? It doesn't define who you are. As my mom would say, don't be stupid. You silly. My mom was the best, is the best. I say was because she's losing it, but such an amazing, amazing lady. Full of energy, laughter. All right, we're testing the bottom trend line. The flag, of course, broke down. So now we have the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's done. So now we have this structure in place. All right, let's see what it does here. Now, can you take this to the long side? And the answer is yes, of course you could, because it's still within the structure. Okay. Again, bare knuckle charting is about risk reward, right? I keep repeating it. Maybe there's somebody new, so I have to keep repeating it. It's testing the previous low, right? So long as within structure, it can do one more up. Okay. If it breaks, then you get out. If you want to go short, right, you let it break, then you let it, build some kind of structure, and then take it to the short, right? Comes back up, stop out. This is your reward. Go back and watch yesterday's video and all the other videos. Go recap them. See how many things I got right. Well, I didn't. The charts got right. Okay. It's really to your benefit to do so. all right, all right. Nobody has any questions, huh? That's good. Again, I'm not an entertainer, so I'm sorry. All right. So there's a nice little bounce there, right? Nice little bounce, but back to the point of control. 248. Not much has changed. Um, you know, as Trump would say, it is what it is. It's just waiting. Um, not to preach, but again, it's my job to tell you, that price is just an advertising marketing mechanism, right? And often we'll see price do something, and then we're going to conclude that it's doing it because of some reason, right? And that's the problem with cute stories. That's the problem with cute stories. That it's not always the way we think it is. It's not because Trump was winning, right, that the market went up. Um, because now Trump, you know, is going to lose. So why is the market up, right? So again, it's got nothing to do with one guy's austerity and the other guy is stimulative or whatever. It's got nothing to do with to the markets, right? It has nothing to do with that. They're both going to print. And just for the record, um, Trump never led in um, the electoral college, not once. So never flipped a state. Right. It's not about the Trump and Biden and election. I'm just telling you, don't let price influence you. That's the point I'm trying to make. Right. You see that with the market, the way it went straight up. The economy kept going straight down. And now people are measuring it from the bottom, wherever the bottom was. Oh, look, it's a forward-looking indicator. What? You're cherry-picking data. You're saying that the economic shutdown is the benchmark. It's not. Of course not. Benchmark is January 2020. Are we better off than then? No. No. Not to justify all-time highs, just to be clear. Yes, it can rally. Yes, it can, price in a shutdown, then pop, right? Which is what it's supposed to do. On a 1, 2, 3 down, it's supposed to rise again. That's what it's supposed to do. But to go to new all-time highs, no, obviously not. The economy is not the same. So then you end up with a multiple expansion. You can see the multiple expansion when it comes into the earnings yield, right? Earning yield collapsed. It collapsed. Corporate profits collapsed. Okay, so markets go higher. Well, how does that work? Right? It's it's pricing in future growth. When I say shit like that, I just shut off. I do. I shut off. The market is only always right when you're in the market and it's going against you. And you're about to blow out your account. Then it's always right. No matter what you do, you're losing, right? If you're making money, you don't give a shit. Right, wrong, doesn't matter. You're making money. But when you're losing, the market is always right. Period. Any other time, it's not always right. It's not, especially when it is manipulated. And I don't mean manipulated in the sense like, oh, there's six guys in a room with one light, with a bunch of computers pushing buttons. Dump it. That's not what I mean. I mean with excessive deficits, QE, and so forth. That's what I mean. I mean, everybody knows it. It's not a secret, right? If I can teach you to be objective and cold as ice, man, I promise you, and you can accept responsibility for mistakes, you will self correct and you will kick ass. I'm telling you. Listen to me. I know it's easier said than done. I know. I believe me, I do. All right, it's just stuck there at the point of control, doing nothing. Let's take a look at the S&P, fading away. Still at that point of control, but you got the void here, right? Be careful. Small caps fading away. Transportation average fading away. Google, Fangs, still holding up against that resistance right here, right? Airlines are fading away. China right up to previous highs, testing it. Look at that. Relentless, huh? Relentless. So now here's the new thing now for China. It's got to hold above this, right? And then whenever this decides to end, okay, then we can end up with something like this. Depends, it's not verifiable right now, but you know. So I'll leave this here. I'll leave it short, okay? And then once it hooks over, then we can validate it from there. Because then you're gonna end up with this: one, two, three, wherever this ends, okay? And then this will need to correct.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right. Sorry, I'm back.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right. Sorry, I'm back. Hi, Duncan. Uh, no, once the channel has been validated with 3 waves and 4 points, uh, that's all that's required. The rest, it doesn't matter. As long as it keeps touching within that channel, okay, it's not countable. I used to do 5 waves, but 5 waves became like very rare, especially in indexes. So they became useless. Um, uh, there was no point to even talk about it anymore. Now, the new count would begin if there was an expansion of the structure. So what do I mean? Let's say this breaks down, okay, and then goes back up. Right? That would be an expansion of the structure. And once that happens, you're now in a different count. So then you would go to the highest point that touched the top, 1, 2, and then you will be in a wave 3 up wherever that ends. Let's say it ends here, okay, and then it starts to hook over. Then the new points are going to be like this. So then this would be, uh, I guess, no, an A. This would be an A. This would be a B, and then this would be a C. So what's the structure showing now? It's a rising wedge, which would need to correct. In that sense, that's the, you know, that's when you start to recount if there's a break of the structure. Now, typically what happens is if you break a structure in one direction, you're going to break it in the other direction. And we've seen plenty of evidence of that, right? And then you just kind of expand the structure. When does an expansion of structure occur? Well, it occurs the longer it stays within the channel, the more likely you're going to have a range expansion. Okay, so let me give you an example of Nasdaq recently. All right. So initially, the way it started out, it was like this, right? That was the count. See it? See how it expanded here? See the expansion, right? Somebody didn't want to change it. It's like, no, you have to expand it. No, but it's a breakout. No, it's not. It's an expansion. If it rolls over and hooks, it's an expansion. Okay? So once we expanded it, look what happened to the very next move. The very next move came up to that expansion and failed. Okay? So look at this area now. You see? If you would have kept it based on this 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, because this was lower. Okay, 3, right? If you kept it like this, all right, then this would look like breakdowns. And they weren't, right? They weren't. So the longer the structure continues on, the more likely you're going to get a range expansion. Okay? So we had one break here. You can say, okay, it's a range expansion. Okay? I just kept it there for for continuity because the second wave, I mean, it's enough of a hook to do it. There's no problem. But the second wave came down, tested it almost immediately. Okay, and this is where we thought, okay, this is going to go incredibly bearish, and then we're going to get a pop, right? Because that's what the S&P had done. The S&P had gone incredibly bearish, right? See it, right? That limp tick, and then you got the counter move up. That's what it's supposed to do. This is uh, not an expansion; it's a complete breakdown. All right. So I thought that this one could have dropped a lot lower. Instead, we ended up with a W, a backwards M. Right? You see it? Okay. And then um, to get really technical about it, this is what ended up happening. Look at it. When price broke the W, okay, it got stuck between the longer term trend line and the new trend line where we kept getting those lower highs and lower lows, right? So it got stuck in between these two trend lines, built pressure, and that's why I kept saying yesterday, I'm like, this is building pressure. We're at the top of the channel. Look for the breakout. Blah, blah, blah. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It popped out, came back, and then took off. Right? Well, we knew it. Go back and listen to the videos. This needed to correct. We said this way before the elections. Okay? This needed to correct, and it did. But that doesn't make it bullish because the next move can be straight down. And that's why I kept saying this morning, I don't like this move to the upside. I don't like the way it's moving. It's too vertical. It's too thrusty. It's not right. Okay. I would have much preferred that we did something like this. Okay. Build some kind of pressure here and then move to the upside. Not as big, but you get my point. That would have been better for me. Instead, we got this very thrusty kind of looking thing. I don't know what it is. It's just noise, right? Other than a 1, 2, 3 up, but and now it's going to fail. I can tell you that easily. I hope that made sense, Duncan. Don't worry, we're going to have a lot more of these to show as an example. Okay, if you don't understand what I mean. In fact, one of the complaints I had down here, if you remember, it was going into the close, was how it nubbed. Let me get the thing. How volume nubbed immediately. Look at the nub. Look at that. Look how much buying came in. It wouldn't let it go. It didn't even explore this area, right? There was a lot of buying in there. They would not allow the price to go below, no matter what. And that was concerning to me. I was like, okay, but, can it come all the way up and then come down here, test, and then go back up? Yeah, of course, it could do it, right? Again, go back, look at the videos. They're very, very helpful because it's in real time. Now, it's hindsight. Everybody's an expert, right? Any other questions? Anybody? All right, 307. Just to check the internals again, going into the final hour. I want to see how they are performing. S&P is up 2.76, led by healthcare, communications, technology. Nothing has changed. And laggards are financials, utilities, and materials. See, the bottom part I'm okay with. The top part, not so much. But uh, it's okay. It's fine. Okay. But remember, anything above 2%, you're getting into that range of extreme normalcy. And the fact that we have so much more information about the markets, I'm sorry, about the elections now, and you're still above that 2% area, and you look at the structure, okay, it's going to have to correct a little bit. Right? It's got to move down. I was looking at the news yesterday, and I don't watch that stuff because it just a lot of advertisement and entertainment. But my God, how do these people, sorry, who are newscasters, just keep saying the same fucking thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? They try to make the small things sensational and just keep repeating it. It's exhausting to me. Let's take a look at corporate profits. It's not updated, okay? And you see that it's down to 1.5 trillion per quarter, and we're still stuck on Q2 because Q3 hasn't finished. But with 75% of the companies that have reported, right, there's definitely an improvement, but they're still down, okay? It's still down. Now, if you log this, you'll see format log. Here it is, log scale. Okay. What you're going to see is that we've actually never grew corporate profits, right? And this is after tax, okay? We never grew corporate taxes. It's been flat since 2012. Not like other years, right? Other bull markets where they actually grew them. It's been flat, right? And that's what when we say, well, it's crowding out, deficits are crowding out investment. Well, yeah, and you can see it in corporate profits. They're not growing, right? So then the next question becomes, okay, so how can earnings per share rise when corporate earnings are flat since 2012? The answer is simple: buybacks. When you buy back stock, you reduce the amount of supply of stock in the market, and that causes what? Well, that causes earnings per share to rise. But earnings per share rising doesn't mean there's more corporate profits. It just means there's not just, but it can also mean that there's lower available stock. If you get into a situation where they're expanding the stock and expanding the earnings per share at the same time, well, they're making more corporate profits for sure. It cannot be any other way, right? This is the mechanics of trading, and when people don't understand them, and they just go to CNBC and they're like, yeah, earnings per share rose, 10%, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it's not the way it works. All right, 312. We're still waiting for this structure to break down. Okay, we're definitely now below the previous high made last night. Barely hanging on to the POC from this, from the bottom here. Jets are going negative. S&P is going, I'm sorry, small caps are going negative. VIX broke out to the upside. Dividend weighted S&P is negative 1.43%. Okay. S&P continues to fade away. Transportations continue to fade away. Now they're flat for the day. Google is pretty much the same. Fags is what I mean, Google. See, I look at it and I just say whatever I see. And everything else is just kind of hanging out. Germany faded away a little bit. UK is fading away a little bit. All right. All right. Anybody have any questions? Questions? Don't be shy. Don't forget, we have Fed meetings. as if as if we didn't have enough problems in our lives. All right. So tomorrow they're going to announce, guess what? Zero interest rates. Craziness. You know, the Fed meetings have become just so useless as what they used to be, right? Because interest rate policy mattered. It actually affected the economy short term to a certain extent. And now that we're at zero, who gives a shit what the Fed does? You know. So what's the next move after um, zero interest rates? QE. But this QE is not the same as it was back in 2008. This one's just buying everything willy nilly. Junk bonds. The fuck. Right? So I guess the magic words now that we're listening to is that uh, there'll be more bond buying or whatever. More QE. Right? What does QE do? It just converts bonds to cash. It doesn't increase deficits, but it increases the supply of money. Right? But overall, just useless. You know. Yes, we have ammo. Yes, we have this. Yes, we have that. You don't understand. We have all the ammunition. All right. Slowly, gradually, then suddenly, right? So that's what it looks like to be doing. It just keeps slowly moving away from the puck. I'm just checking something here. This is the Indonesian rupee, by the way. See, MMT works great. $1 equals 14,554 Indonesian rupee. Rupai. See, I hate when it does this shit. It prints one single thing and then it destroys everything else. Don't mind me. We'll get back to the Nasdaq. I'm just. I hate when people come and start talking nonsense. Some dude is like, "Yeah, but I'm here and I live in Indonesia." People have this tendency. They think like, well, I'm from Indonesia, therefore I'm an expert. Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, he's like 25 years old. Idealistic as all fuck. Read a couple memes, and suddenly he's an expert. He's gonna come to tell me. I guess these are the type of people that vote for Trump. I don't know. Just busting balls. All right, there we go. Starting to break down. And down we go. Good morning, Alessandro. ¿Cómo está? ¿Está bien? ¿Cómo está tu familia? Bueno, mucho trabajo, poco dinero. All right. What a slow grind, huh? It's what, 324? Grinding, falling out of structure, correcting through time. Gracias. Yeah, okay, my friend. Good, good, good. Uh, so, Duncan, let's say this pops here. All right. Let's say this goes boop. What happens to this? Huh? That would be an expansion of the range. And then you start the count over. And then you adjust the top line as this would be the 1, this would be the 2, and then you're looking for the 3 up. Okay. Now you don't always do that. It depends how it breaks. It depends how it moves. Wait for the hook. There's a lot more to it, of course. Um, but that's how that would work. The problem with this structure right now is that it's so steep. I mean, you don't see it because it's a 5 minutes. So let's go into 15 minutes. It's such a steep rise that even expanding it does very little, right? Uh, I mean, just look at it, right? It's just up, tink, straight move up. Just a correction from this. That's all this is, right? So you had them down move, you get the correction, right? You come down, possibly test this or this area, and then maybe go back up, right? You don't know these things, and doing projections, is, unless you really know what you're doing, is not a good idea. We tried that early on when I was teaching the guys, and everybody went predicting crazy. They just started drawing crayons all over the chart. I was like, oh my god. It was scary. I was like, okay, I'm not doing that no more. But now that I'm more into the mentoring phase instead of the teaching phase, I don't care what they post. It's up to them. Plus, they understand it a lot better now, so it's not the same. All right, 326. Watching paint dry. Nothing in the Twitter sphere that I see. Right. Here's a little fun fact. So far, Joe Biden has received more votes than any candidate who has ever run for president of the United States. Wow. Any questions, anybody? Don't be shy. Boring, huh? Gradually, then suddenly, watch the last 2 minutes. What happens? Like the last few days, right? Last 2 minutes, boom, either straight down or straight up. What could change the COVID? Well, for one thing, um, Lena, the one thing that can change is just to have a common message, right? Not mixed messages. That's very important to begin with. Two, contact tracing, right? That's huge. Um, and then, you know, develop a system where you can identify zip codes and lock those areas down, right? So remember, macro is great, but often solutions are on the micro level, right? So you don't need to shut down a whole entire nation. If there's a hot spot, right, you shut it down 2 weeks, let it go away, right? Suppress and try to contain the virus. Okay, that's very important. It's very important because that means the rest of us can go back to functioning properly. Um, that's huge. If you're spurring on people like the Karens to run around and just make everybody's life miserable and holding COVID rallies, how can that not be fucked up? So I hope I answered that question. S&P lost it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Falling away, right? Yeah. Very good. Very good, Habibi. Bueno. Mucho bueno. Okay. And where is it going? Right? Well, it's going to where the previous area down here was resistance before, right? How many times have we gone back and forth in this area? It's almost meaningless at this point, right? I mean, it's garbage. So point of control and 63-day moving average is, you know, very close together. And like I said before, this is too steep. This is not. This is going to correct. I don't like this. Said it from the beginning. All right, we're going into the void now, right? All right, Alessandro. Remember you were asking me about the void. There we go. Going right into the void. All right. There goes Nasdaq. And again, do you see how the price is? Pay attention to that. See it? That P I've talked about before. It's a short covering rally, right? P's, and then when it does the opposite, you know, the bulls are puking it. So this whole entire move is just a short covering rally, and now it's coming back down to earth. some music because I'm going to fall asleep here. Just take a quick peek at the internals. So 340, we're still, you know, fading away and below the point of control. And here's the thing now that um, at some point this is going to resolve, right? And the structure now is starting to look somewhat bullish, believe it or not, um, because you're having this formation here, which usually resolves to the upside. Now that's okay if you correct with time. I just don't think there's enough time in the last 19 minutes to correct enough. Okay, so this leads me to believe that this will resolve to from this structure here, incredibly bearish, and then correct from this structure, and then possibly go back up or do whatever it's going to do. Okay, but again, it's a short covering rally. Up 4.45% is an extreme, especially after we know as much as we know, right? So it's not like we're in the middle of this. We're at the end of this. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's just keep an eye on it gradually, then suddenly, right?
Mic off. Mic on. Mic feedback off. Mic feedback on.
All right. So, last 10 minutes left in the trading session, and it's just kind of correcting through time for now. All right. Uh, look through all the data. Transports are continuing to fade away. The 10 year is going down. Now it's down 14% for the day on the 10 year, and that's what it should do. If there's fear in the market because the economy is not well, 10 years should go down, right? Yeah, transportation down 0.5%. Nasdaq is just way the fuck euphoric. And quick look here. S&P is again fading away, but now it's just kind of pausing. So we'll wait for the last 2 minutes and see what it does. Gets all crazy. Right, VIX is 29.7, down 16% for the day. I don't think I looked at that. Right, so just correcting, meaning this part correcting, not this. All right, back to the point of control for the Nasdaq for the 100th millionth time. I guess the nice thing about politics that everybody loves about them is you can say whatever the fuck you want, and you know, there's no repercussions, right? You're not held accountable for anything. Stock market is not like that, right? Forex trading, it's not like that. If you say something, you put your money where your mouth is, you get burned. You get burned hard. So then you learn over the course of time, unless you're some piker, you learn to keep your mouth shut until you have a good handle on what the market is doing. And even then, that's when you're very cautious as to what you say and why you say it. And that, if you learn that, it's going to change you as a human. Believe me. But in politics, like sports, he sucks, she sucks, whatever. No repercussions. No accountability. Just say whatever you want and you're an expert. Agree with a group of other people, you're justified. That's why I never understood that shit. Never made sense to me. The fact that Trump got so many votes, knowing that he's a liar, knowing that he's incompetent. What happened to the great trade deal in China? Garbage. What happened to lowering drug costs? Garbage. What happened to COVID is going to go away by April? Garbage. What happened to it was a liberal hoax? Garbage. What happened to creating all these jobs? Mega, right? What happened to imports? Imports are a historic level. That means we're creating jobs for everybody else. Yeah. And yet people like that. Go figure. All right. Trying to break out from this structure. See, crossing of a line doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot, right? And I'll keep saying it. See, the worst thing about trading um, is one, to know who to listen to, right? Two, um, is the, I mean, there's so many things that come to my mind, but when you learn a conventional way of doing things, conventional as whatever everybody else is saying. Remember, those books, those things, they're created for the masses. I mean, they're created for the lowest common denominator. So they're not going to give you the information that you need to be successful, right? So you get somebody telling you, yeah, if you cross the line, then you want to buy and da 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 and all this bullshit. Yeah, but that's not the way it works, right? So how do you prove, and this is the second point, how do you prove 60-40 versus a 50-50? Unless you're sitting there taking notes. You can't prove it. You can't prove that one person is more worthy to listen to than the other. Because any fifter can come in, and I call them fifters. Fifters are people that have a 50-50 chance of being right by you know, random events. Doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. But they won't give you consistent um, calls. They just pop out of nowhere whenever they feel like it, and I think it's going to do this. And then when they fail, they just kind of disregard and disappear like a cockroach, when you turn on the light, and then they just run away. Okay, but you have to know the difference between a 60-40 and a fifter. And if a fifter can be consistent, fifters are really, if you look at fifters and you follow a fifter, you're going to see that their performance is horrible. Right? They can't even make 10%. Right? But for that moment in time, they got a 50-50 chance of being right. And they're not there to prove that they're right. They're just there to act smart. Right? So it's very difficult. That's why when I started this, I'm like, look, if I can't do it and you can point to it and you can see it live, then you shouldn't listen to me. Or I'm not that good. So then I shut the fuck up. I'll embarrass myself and I'll walk out. Nobody will listen. But again, you can see how accurate the calls are. Right? All right, market is closed. That's it. Done. It's happy at the point of control at the top. Um, Again, if it corrects through time, that's fine. But even with this trajectory, and I'm talking about this trend line, which it's very far away, it can correct through time like that, but um, and maybe get it one more up, but it's going to take a very, very long time, right? So, if you take all this stuff out, so all you have now is just a relief rally from this downturn, right? So you have this move down, you get a relief rally, and that's it. That's all we have right now. And this is clearly a tight, 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 right? Very tight, tight, tight. This is not how markets move. Tight, 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 tight. So expect a lot more volatility in the days ahead. Um, let's take a look at some of the other indices real quick before we close out for today. I'll still be around. All right. Same thing with the S&P. Small caps are all over the place. Forget about them. Transportation's fading. FANGs, they stayed the same. Dow Jones, right, fading. New York Stock Exchange fading. VIX, okay, big drop off, but it's not like we haven't seen this before, right? These big drop offs. Okay, so you've seen these a lot. So let's see what it does tomorrow. Um, Airlines were down, right, for today, and the rest was all up. Let's look at the internals. How did it close? Healthcare, communicate, pretty much the same. Materials, utilities, financials. Okay. On a 5-day look back, it doesn't look bullish. Okay. Real estate, industrials, energy, healthcare. I mean, come on. So again, it's just a relief rally for now. Note that on a 5-day basis, we're up to 5.44. Remember that anywhere between here and 7% is an extreme for a week. Okay. Tomorrow we have the Fed, garbage, blah blah blah, more promises of we'll do what it takes and so forth. Okay. Um, let's see how you know these news outlets report what's going on, and let's get this behind us and move forward with dealing with real macroeconomics and investing, and not wasting our time with Trump bullshit tweets and lies and you know affecting the markets and so forth. That's not normal. All right, so I'll leave it off hither. We're still looking for the downside correction. Okay, and that's it. Anybody have any questions? Anything? Going once, going twice. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget, guys, to come down, subscribe. Patreon.com/RealMacro. Patreon.com/RealMacro. And please like and subscribe the YouTube channel. You'll get notifications when I come on live or I post a video. And go back, watch the video yesterday. Very, very informative. Look at all the calls, how it worked out. Everything was spot on as usual. So, it's a great way for you guys to learn when you go out and practice. Thank you. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.